I'm here with J Tyre. He owns Tiny Towing, the Burnout machine that you've seen at so many events. We'll give you a look here. What we don't know is the history of this car, how it came to be. Jay's been kind enough to tell us everything all about it, the running gear, the lot. So we'll spin the camera around and we'll get going.
Basically, it's a 1978 Suzuki Carry. It's basically all original chassis up till just the front of the wheels there, and it's just been extended a tiny bit, so front end all original, still uses original leaf hangers, the whole deal. Built by a bloke, a mate of mine, Peter Grant, probably getting close to 25 years ago now. It's had a bit of history, did local burnouts, a bit of drag racing, taken over by another mate, he did drag racing, you know, that's how it went. And then it disappeared for a while, went into people's sheds. And then we found it 7-8 years ago at a local swap meet, you know. Had a tow truck, thought, righto, we'll rebuild it as a promo car and bring it back to its former glory because it's a bit run down, and yeah, slowly progressed to this. So yeah, it's basically just LS1, built now, all, you know, rods, pistons, just the basics. Turbo 400, just manualised, little 1-foot tail shaft, and then a Hilux diff. So yeah, it's a pretty basic combo, but it's been good, reliable for us, for what we do to it.
What's it like to drive? Tell us, like, I know it's got plenty of guts and plenty of power. It's not shy to spin tyres, but what's it like behind the wheel?
Yeah, okay, so that was the biggest thing to get my head around. It doesn't drive like anything I've driven before, partially because of the weight distribution, but also you're sitting over the front wheels. So normally when you're in a car and it goes sideways, you can feel it. But because you're sitting on the pivot point, it can be sideways and you don't feel you're going sideways. You just know you're looking out the side a bit. So we've done some drifting in it, a big drift event, and didn't think we're going sideways, and then the steering locks would lock up. And obviously we were at full lock the whole time, thinking you're only at half lock. So yeah, once you get your head around that and you want to work with it, like, you know, like I tell everyone with Burnout, don't fight it, just go with the flow. If the car wants to go one way, work with it. If you get stuck trying to do what you want to do, then that's where you get stuck. So.
And you must have a good time doing it, mate. Nobody gets out of the car smiling more than you.
Yeah, so yeah, the driving being hard is half the novelty of it. It's the fun of driving. It's something different. It's just fun. It's fun to drive, so that's why we do everything we can in it. Drifting, motor carners, roll racing, drag racing, burnouts. You listen, if we can do it, we're there, yeah. Would
I be right in saying that this is probably one of the most reliable burnout cars in the scene? I rarely see you ever have an issue.
Yeah, we haven't blown a motor up, so it's yeah, it's been good, and we definitely.
When I say rarely, I mean never.
Yeah, it's not ever gone rods out. It's always been the same motor, except for the first CentreNATS. That was a stocker, which is just sitting in the shed as a spare now. Yeah. But since we built this, it's been together and running reliable. It's happy days.
It makes a good noise, this thing. Tell us a bit about how long the exhaust is, which is not very.
Nah, not very long at all. So you can see where the motor is, and the exhaust comes out just there. So by the time you run your headers, it's probably about that long. It's just basically, so like an X pipe and straight out the side, that's it. It's probably a metre worth of pipe, but the X pipe's the secret, you know, like everyone knows, the X pipe helps give it that nicer note. And
yeah, a bit of a raspy sort of noise.
Yeah, helps it to give that crisper, higher pitch note. And
what sort of revs are you sitting around when you say in the middle of a skid?
75's the sort of the sweet spot. Yeah, so you don't want to go above 78. Yeah. With what it is, like I said, it's still all standard, like a wet sump. You know, it's VE sump though, so it's a bit more oil capacity there. But other than that, it's standard crank. So it's all good.
Tell us about some of your favourite. Have you got a couple of favourite burnouts you think you've ever done where you've got out and gone, you know, I think every burnout I see you look so excited about.
Yeah, okay. Probably the funnest one was my first CentreNATS when we come through as a wild card. Progressed through to finals and then into Burnout Masters, then got put on the short list as the finalist. So I think it was us and Mojo. We got to go out as a scored skid in case one of the 10 couldn't make finals. They still had 10 finalists. So that was one of those no pressure, do what you want, and that was probably my funnest skid because it just ripped it up. Yeah, it was good. It's probably one of my best skids that probably would have scored high, but yeah, every day we drive it off the pad, it's just a win for us.
Because you do travel around quite a lot, even now, all the way from Townsville. It's quite a drive here to Red Centre.
3,000 Ks or something to get here, a couple of 3 days. But everything's big for us, you know. We've got nothing within 400 Ks of where we live, so CentreNATS 3 days, here's 3 days.
And NorthernNATS is not probably the closest one?
Yeah, NorthernNATS, Tropical Meltdown up there, that's the closest, 400 Ks away. So everything else is Rockies, 900 Ks, so still 1 day, so we're happy with that.
We've got a very noisy Spotto 57 over here.
Yeah, one of our other mates we travel with, for sure.
Right. It's still NA for now, but I hear it's going blind.
Yes, the blower's ordered and it couldn't get here in time for here.
Such a nice burnout car, and Steve's an awesome fella.
Yeah, absolutely. Built all in their shed themselves, so yeah, absolutely.
Tell me one thing, is this the standard length? Like, is it regular length or it's been lengthened?
It is slightly longer, so it's standard chassis to here.
Yeah.
And it's just been extended that last bit. So I can show you if you want, just here, we'll rip them up. And it's not pretty under there. So that's still factory chassis here. It's hard to see, but the rear leaf spring hanger, the factory one, is what we're using as the front leaf hanger spring. So we're still using the factory suspension hangers. Low
and hard.
Yeah. It's all leaf spring. It's nothing fancy, but never axle tramps.
But changing the gearbox, it's got to be one of the easiest burnout cars in the scene.
Yeah, well, it's all solid mounted too, so you can remove either the motor or the box separate, or you can move them as one unit.
Wow.
You just take the struts off, peel that up, comes out, it's a 20-minute job. And we haven't had to do it, so happy days.
Too good.
Yeah.
Too good. Well, thanks, Jay, for showing us around the car.
No, too easy, guys.
Appreciate it, mate.
Thank you.
We know you love to do drag racing. It is a multi-purpose vehicle.
Yeah, absolutely. It's surprisingly good for what it is.
Drifting, drag, burnouts, does it all.
Yeah.
If you see Jay at a show, make sure you come and say hello. Give the car a cheer, because this car is a weapon of a car that supports so many burnout events, and he never gets the smile off his face.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Before I go, mate, come on.
We have talked about putting a blower on it.
Putting a blower on it. He's maybe putting a blower on it. You've heard it here first.
Big injector hat over the roof.
Yeah, right. Over the roof.
That's always been the Skids kids' plan when we first got it.
And what he says goes.
Yeah, to.
Next time you see this, you might have a
big blower on it.
We'll see.